Welcome to this insight into the life of Fritz Witt, holder of the Knight's Cross with oak leaves and the first commander of the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend. So who was Fritz Witt? He was a patriotic German who found himself caught up in world-changing events in 1931. The Great Depression in the USA resulted in a huge decline of investment in Germany and its economy, which by 1931 was showing itself prominently. Many people lost their jobs or had to job hop frequently. Fritz Witt was one of those job hoppers. In November of that year, he made the decision to join the SS, a youthful and relatively small organisation within the wider NSDAP affiliated organisations. He was assigned a membership number of 21528. As a comparison, the SA had 77,000 members around the same time. Therefore, his decision to choose the SS instead of the SA was not a common one then. He also joined the NSDAP with a membership number of 816769. What he could not foresee is that his decision sent him down a fateful path that would lead to his death less than 13 years later. Soon after Adolf Hitler came to power in January 1933, a need for a personal bodyguard formation was identified, and in March, 117 men were sent to Berlin to form that bodyguard unit. Initially known as the SS Stabswache Berlin, they were renamed later the same year to the Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler. From surviving documents, we cannot determine if these men were hand-selected or they volunteered, although some of their personnel files would err towards the volunteer angle. Witt was one of those who either made the decision to volunteer or had it made for him. He held junior NCO rank in March 1933, but then moved through the higher NCO ranks and was then given his first officer promotion in October of that year. The first image we're showing here is amongst the earliest known photos of some of those 117 men at the Lichterfelde barracks. Witt can be seen second from right. Standing alongside Witt is Willem Munke, then Teddy Wish, and then Hans Kalani. Three of them would go on to command panzer divisions during the war, and all four of them would be awarded the Knight's Cross or higher. This item showing on the left is an exceptionally rare commemorative bronze ornament given to the first 117 men who formed the SS Stabswache Berlin. It resided with the family in the early 2000s, was later sold to a dealer, and is now in an unknown private collection. Here we will show a selection of the earliest documents that either reference Fritz Witt or are signed by him. The first one on the left is his assignment to a company following a training course in early 1933. The second is one of his promotion confirmations, and the third is an obscure document, one of the most obscure ones we encountered, signed by Witt when he was an SS Obertruppführer, or senior NCO. The reason why it's such a rare document is he only held that rank for 2 weeks. All of these promotion documents show decisions being made by others that affected the career of Fritz Witt. In October of 1933, we have a document here where the then staff of the Leibstandarte are deciding on whether to promote Fritz Witt to his first officer rank. Thankfully, they found no grounds to halt that promotion, and it went ahead. And here we see the photograph of Fritz Witt wearing that first officer rank of SS Sturmführer or second lieutenant. Jump forward to 1934 and we see Fritz Witt here circled in the centre, commanding the then 2nd Sturm or 2nd Company. To the left of Fritz Witt is Bernhard Siebken, who had a prominent role in the Night of the Long Knives that same year. Jump forward 10 years till 1944, and Bernhard Siebken was once more serving alongside Fritz Witt, only this time as a battalion commander in Normandy. For his actions in the opening battles of the Normandy campaign in June, he was later tried for war crimes and in 1949 was hung. At the end of 1934, a request was sent from the SS Standarte Deutschland to the Leibstandarte, asking for one of their officers to be sent to the Standarte Deutschland because they had a gap in a particular role. The decision was made to send Fritz Witt from the Leibstandarte to the SS Standarte Deutschland, and here, after various letters in December, we have the confirmation letter in early January 1935 that sent Fritz Witt from Berlin to Munich. Here we see a photograph of Fritz Witt after he had moved to the Standarte Deutschland. We can see him with his Obersturmführer rank, or First Lieutenant. And he's also seen wearing the Deutschland collar patch with the number 1, but also an unusual number 3 cuff title as opposed to a Deutschland cuff title. During his time with Deutschland, not only did he have to move from Berlin to Munich, he also married his fiancée, Hildegard Gratz, and they also started a family together. The photo shown here is of Hildy and Fritz. The document shown on the right is his official SS contract. These were introduced in 1935, and we can see that it's signed by Fritz Witt on the left and Heinrich Himmler on the right. This contract committed Fritz Witt to serve until 1953, a year he would not see. He led the 3rd Company during his time with the SS Standarte Deutschland, and he led that company into Poland in September 1939 during the first campaign of what became the Second World War. Deutschland were under the overall command of Division Kempf, and whilst with them he displayed bravery in the field and was the first of their soldiers to be awarded not only the 2nd class but also, more importantly, the 1st class Iron Cross. The documents are the crude early versions of the official awards for both. You can see that they are handwritten because they weren't prepared at that point for issuing awards and the like in that early stage of the conflict. This next image shows the 1st class Iron Cross, which resided again in the family in the early 2000s. You'll have to excuse the photograph, it was taken on a rudimentary camera that I had at that time. And then the last image is from an original newspaper cutting, and again you can see the condition of it has deteriorated over the decades, and it shows Fritz Witt in a small newspaper article highlighting the awards of both classes of the Iron Cross, and here we see him in that photograph wearing both of those medals. The basis of his awards were a direct result of the decisions he made during the heat of battle, and you can see already the decision made back in 1935 to send him to Deutschland was having a positive impact on Fritz Witt's career. Move forward to the next campaign that took place between May and June 1940, and that took place in the west, advancing through Holland, Belgium and France. During that campaign, he assumed command of Deutschland's 1st Battalion, and he led that in Holland and then France. For his repeated bravery, underfire and leadership qualities, he became the 6th soldier within the Waffen-SS to be awarded the Knight's Cross. The document we show here is the preliminary award document for that medal. The second image shows a Knight's Cross that was in the possession of the family in the early 2000s. And thirdly, we have a photo taken in September 1940 during some home leave showing Witt wearing his Knight's Cross while standing next to his brother Franz and his best friend Albert Schuck. The final image was taken during the same trip and shows him with his son Peter and daughter Ursula. He fathered 5 children, with the last child being born not long after his death. He made further decisions in the heat of battle, and senior commanders decided to recognise his demonstrated skills and abilities. The next campaign was the Balkans, which began in early April 1941. In the autumn of 1940, Fritz Witt moved back to the Leibstandarte, and by the start of that Balkans campaign, he was commanding their 1st Battalion. His brother Franz was a junior officer in that battalion, and he was killed on the very first day of the German attack into Greece. The photo here shows Franz with his final rank of SS Untersturmführer. The second photo shows Witt and Sepp Dietrich during the height of the advance of the 1st Battalion into the Clady Pass. You can see they're very much dust covered, with the motorcycle troops waiting behind them for their next orders. The final photo here shows both of them toasting the success of the capture of that key pass through the Greek mountains. Fate impacted the family forever. Both Witt had to carry on, and his command decisions soon after his brother's death led to further key successes. Very soon after the Greek campaign, the Germans advanced into the Soviet Union. The first photo shows Witt and Günther Dalequin, whom he had developed a close relationship with. The second image was taken during the very early stage of that campaign and captures him with his signature cigar in his mouth. The Leibstandarte most subtly advance took them to Rostov in November 1941. The map shown here is a period Soviet map of that city, and the Leibstandarte's route through the city is highlighted by Heinrich Springer in 2002. On the very first day of that battle, Gerd Pleiss was killed in action. He was Witt's first soldier to receive the Knight's Cross. Heinrich Springer led the advance, successfully captured the Rostov bridge over the Don River, but could not hold it. He was Witt's second soldier to receive the Knight's Cross, and another soldier who became a trusted friend, serving directly under Witt for 3 years of the war. Witt was quick to ensure that the bravery of his men was recognised by taking the decision to nominate the most notable of them for the award of the Knight's Cross. This photo here shows Fritz Witt in 1942, and you can see that he's been promoted again to SS Obersturmbannführer, or Lieutenant Colonel. He has also been awarded the German Cross in Gold. We can see him here visiting members of the Hitler Youth in Hanover in 1942. It is highly probable that some of the young teenagers went on to serve with the 12th SS Panzer Division 2 years later. This third photo was taken in France, also in 1942, and shows Witt after being awarded the Bulgarian and Romanian bravery medals, with an intrigued Sepp Dietrich viewing one of the award documents. In early 1943, the Leibstandarte were back in the Soviet Union for the Third Battle of Kharkov. The first image shows Witt, now holding the rank of SS Standartenführer, or Colonel, with some of his men. As that fighting was still raging, he left the front line and went to receive the award of the Oak Leaves to the Knight's Cross from the hand of Hitler. The final image shows him back at the front, wearing his Oak Leaves, and seen talking to Kurt Meyer and Max Buncher, both of whom would command regiments within the later 12th SS Panzer Division under Witt. His leadership decisions came to the fore once more, resulting in him receiving his highest bravery award from the hand of the Führer. That was 10 years after he had become a foundational member of that leader's bodyguard unit. He received the preliminary award document for Witt's Oak Leaves, together with an official Hoffman postcard of Witt wearing his Oak Leaves, this one signed by him. In mid-1943, he was sent to Germany, then Belgium, to build the later 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend, a unique concept of utilising the youths as a basis of a new fully equipped tank division. The first image shows Witt wearing his SS Oberführer rank, seated with his pet dog Bully. The second image shows Witt, Dietrich and others during a demonstration of the fighting capabilities of the youths of the Hitlerjugend division. These demonstrations were essential in securing the supply of tanks and other key equipment during a time when supplies could not keep up with the demand. The final photo shows Witt wearing the full range of his bravery medals and also his final rank of SS Brigadeführer, Brigadier General. A decision was made in early 1944 to move that division to Normandy. Fate was about to play its final card in the life of Fritz Witt. On the 6th of June 1944, the Allies began their landings on the beaches of Normandy, and Witt's division was amongst the first to react to those landings and race towards the coast. Caen became one of their key defensive locations. Decisions made in other countries resulted in a fateful clash of troops in the Normandy countryside. The first image shows Witt and Sepp Dietrich as they look to the skies filled with enemy aircraft. Their concern is all evident. The second image was taken west of Caen and shows Witt, a wounded Max Buncher and also Kurt Meyer, as I discuss the rapidly unfolding battle situation. The final photo shows Kurt Meyer riding the motorcycle combination with Witt in the sidecar. This is not a scene you would see in any Allied division. These commanders led from the front, literally. That close proximity to the front line would cost Fritz Witt his life, when on the 14th of June 1944 his headquarters was attacked by the main 16-inch guns of HMS Nelson. He was killed instantly, and his death deeply impacted the soldiers of the division that he had built over the preceding year. The second image shows the helmet he was wearing at the time of his death. The impact of the shrapnel is very evident. And this final photo on this slide shows one of Witt's 3 graves that was within the Normandy region. Fate had dealt its final card for Fritz Witt. Alongside that, the Allied decision to mount the Normandy landings played a huge part in the final defeat of Germany just under 1 year later. We've completed the short overview of the life of Fritz Witt. Much more detail is contained within the book, but before bringing this presentation to a close, I want to share with you a quick insight into my interest in history. I grew up in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and warfare has always held a fascination for me. I have a particular passion for the combat history of the Waffen-SS. I hasten to add, not the political aspects of the Third Reich era. I cannot recall when that passion began, but it has been there from a very young age. I moved to England more than 3 decades ago with my young family to get them out of that conflict zone. That decision led me on a fateful path that included meeting the first of hundreds of veterans who served in the Waffen-SS. Shown here are some of those who served under Fritz Witt and helped make the book possible through their various recollections. A direct link back to that historical era that fascinates so many of us. The first one shown here is Heinrich Springer, who started off as Fritz Witt's battalion adjutant and ended up as his divisional adjutant 3 years later. Then we have Albert Frey, someone who served under Witt in Kharkov in 1943 and was a holder of the Oak Leaves to the Knight's Cross. Then we have Hubert Meyer, who Fritz Witt proposed for the award of the German Cross in Gold and who served under Witt as first staff officer for the 12th SS Panzer Division. Then we have some of the soldiers who served directly under Witt. Here we have Hermann Niederleg, who was in the 3rd Company during the key crossing of the Meuse River in 1941. His recollections are contained within the book. Then we have Hans Komischke, who also supplied some recollections for the book. He also served in the 3rd Company in 1941 and beyond. Then we have Gerhard Dilling, who had some very key recollections about Fritz Witt in 1943 during the fighting in Kharkov. The recollections of Hubert Meyer, Heinrich Springer and Albert Frey are also contained within the book. And finally, of course, there's a photograph of Peter Witt, the son of Fritz Witt. He was very instrumental in ensuring the supply of key facts and also key material that made the book possible. And just before wrapping up, I just wanted to include a slide of all of the books that have either been written by myself or published by Loyalty and Honour Publishing over the last 21 years. I know many of you have these on your shelves, but if you're missing some, do get in touch. We'll bring this presentation to a close. If you're interested in acquiring this book, go to the link shown on this slide or go to the website and look up the other titles that are available. Thank you.